Shannon. I'm originally from Chicago, and I relocated to the Valley about 6.5 years ago. So I'm now, Chicago's still home, but I guess I'm a Phoenix native now officially, since not too many people live a little longer than that. I've been through a lot of transitions since I've been in Phoenix. I relocated with a major financial services firm, and after 6 months I was actually laid off. And then I got another job, and then I was laid off from that about a year later. And then from that I got another job, and I was laid off 3 months later. And then from that I just kind of reinvented myself. I did some consulting until I just created my own work until I found what I thought was going to take me to the next step. So what I'm trying to tell you is I know how to find a job. Even in the downturn of the economy, I never went more than a couple weeks without a job. And I think that a reason for that is that I was very targeted in my career search. I was aggressive. I didn't sit there and let the world kind of happen to me, and I networked. So that's part of what I want to talk to you about today. So I'm going to talk about social media. I'm going to first tell you a little bit about Charles Schwab. Who here has heard of Charles Schwab? Good amount. Yay! Cool. We're making progress already. That's more than usual, so I really appreciate you guys. Other than being on the invitation, who has heard of Charles Schwab? All right, good. So we're a financial services firm. This is actually our 40th anniversary. Chuck founded the company about 40 years ago, and we were known as the first discount brokerage. So essentially, our initial purpose was to bring Wall Street to Main Street. So to make investing in the stock market affordable to people like you and me that are not, we're not independently wealthy necessarily or millionaires. We're just kind of out there trying to make it. And that was the initial mission of the company, and it's still part of who we are. Over the last, I'd say, 10, 15 years, we've evolved beyond the brokerage. So we also have a bank. We do mortgages in partnership with Quicken Loans for our clients. We have an institutional side of our business, which is the business-to-business side of Schwab, where we provide custodial support to independent advisors that have their own businesses. We provide retirement plans to a lot of large employers. There are things after 2.5 years of landing at Schwab that we do that I don't even know about. And we have opportunities within technology for folks that are interested in that. So one of the common things I deal with when I go to career fairs is, nope, don't want to be a financial advisor, not interested. That's right, because we're actually not looking for financial advisors. We're actually a service-oriented company, and we're all about serving our clients and helping them to meet their financial needs and their financial goals. That's a little bit about Schwab. So that's essentially what we are. A service organization is what we're looking for, folks that are focused on service. We have training opportunities if you're interested in being a stockbroker. We have opportunities if you're interested in financial planning, if you're interested in working in technology, coming in at a level where we'll work and train with you. If you're interested in relationship management, you don't have to have interest in have experience in financial services. We're just looking for a person that's really motivated to do the right thing, motivated in their career, and that fits into our culture, which is a very collaborative culture. We do have internships available in the summer. Right now we're taking those that graduate with anticipated graduation. Some of you may know what that means. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand on that. But if you're graduating between December 14 and December 15, we do have excellent internships available in the fields of client service and support, technology, retirement plan services, and also for those that want to actually work in a branch doing face-to-face service. So I hope that was quick enough for everybody, because I wanted to focus more on my actual topic, but I also wanted to let you know what we're looking for. And I will be here tomorrow with my colleague Heather Iskazak. We'll be here tomorrow at the Career Exploration Day if anybody wants to talk more in detail about opportunities with Schwab. So that's my spiel. So let's talk about social media and recruiting. So there's really 2 ways you can leverage social media in your career search. You can leverage it to find an actual job, as in finding jobs that are available, and you can leverage it to brand yourself. Does anybody want to guess what percentage of job seekers now actually find their jobs through social media? What is it? 70. Not quite. Actually, 70% actually do find their jobs through networking, so you're very, very close. 1 in 6 job seekers actually find their jobs through social media right now, and about 30% of job seekers actually use social media as their primary method to look for a job. So because we know this, recruiters and companies are using social media to look for candidates. So it's a great marketplace for you to be able to find information, not only about jobs that are available, but also about employers, what's going on in employers, what their mission is, what their culture is like, what's happening in an employer. There's a lot of information that you can pick up from social media. So there's a lot of social media sites out there. I couldn't possibly talk with you about all of them. was looking at our social media strategy for Schwab for the next 18 months. I mean, I literally spent 3 months working on what is this going to look like? What should we do? How are we going to make sure people know about Schwab via social media? So I could never sit here and talk all day. And I would talk all day if Ron and these lovely folks would let me. But I just want to focus on a couple of different social media sites. And I think the first is probably the most obvious, which is LinkedIn, which is known as the professional social media venue. So it's a little safer. I know that there's a lot of concern out there, not only just really how you can be perceived not only by your current employer, but by a potential employer based on your social media profiles. I highly recommend you go out there and if you don't have one already, create a LinkedIn profile and put every piece of information on there that you think might be relevant, from philanthropic work you did, if you're on a team, if you're in a fraternity or sorority, if you're active in that way. Every piece of involvement, every piece where you can show that you are part of a team and that you're a leader, include that in your profile. Even if you don't have a lot of work experience, it's okay. We want to know who you are, and if you create that profile, that's going to give us one other way for us to find that out. Connect with recruiters. I think everybody here would probably, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we'd all welcome, I actually did just speak for everybody, so I think we all welcome connections from all of you as you're looking for employment. So don't be afraid to reach out. That is the purpose of LinkedIn. It's expected. It's expected that you're there looking for a career opportunity, and we're actually there looking for you too. So create a profile, connect with recruiters. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I have a very unique job. I essentially represent Schwab as an employer in the community. So I basically do public relations for Schwab as an employer. There's not many companies that have invested in somebody to do that. So I get emails on LinkedIn all the time of people asking me, can I just ask you how you went from being a mortgage branch manager in 5 years to doing what you're doing? And I'll pick up the phone and I'll call them and I'll tell them and I'll give them whatever advice I can. So don't be afraid to do that. It can also be dangerous. So watch what you share. If you're sharing an article that maybe is about something that's controversial or political, be very careful what you share even on LinkedIn, because you never know how that could be construed by somebody, by an employer. So if you're sharing something about, the president, you don't know if a recruiter's looking at your profile and you're sharing something about the president. Maybe they're a big fan of the president, and maybe you shared something negative, and that can actually impact you. So just really keep it focused on being professional, letting us know who you are, and sharing information that's relevant to your career search. So definitely don't feel like you can't ever reach out. And if you see that somebody is connected to somebody that you want to connect with, so for example, if I'm connected to Shannon at Robert Half, and you were targeting Robert Half as an employer, and you're connected to me, you're going to see that, and you're going to be able to reach out to me and say, hey Shannon, can you connect me with Shannon? And I'm going to be really confused, and then we'll work it out, and I'll introduce you to Shannon. So definitely get on LinkedIn. It's for Schwab. It's actually currently our 7th biggest source of external hire. So after internal movement, employee referrals, that sort of thing. So we actually do look for talent on LinkedIn, and we do hire people that come from LinkedIn. And also another warning I'll give you is to be very honest with your information on LinkedIn. You can get really tripped up. And I actually, anytime I'm updating my profile, or in the past when I've updated a resume, be really honest on your profile, because what can happen is if you have information on your profile and then you submit a resume somewhere, and for some reason dates don't line up, or maybe you're embarrassed to share something, or you didn't want to show a gap in your employment, you need to really understand that if something's on your LinkedIn profile and you can submit a resume, the recruiter's going to question your integrity. So the number one thing I can tell you about social media, be honest with your experience, even if it's not maybe exactly what the best situation. Talk briefly about Twitter. A lot of employers are using Twitter to connect with potential employees. And it's very easy to find jobs on Twitter. There are so many hashtags out there tied to jobs. All of our Charles Schwab jobs come out through our Schwab jobs Twitter, so you can follow the Schwab jobs Twitter and have access to all of our current openings. But you can really easily search for jobs in any location or any industry. You can just search a hashtag jobs, a hashtag AZ jobs or Phoenix jobs or financial jobs, and you're going to be able to find all of those jobs that have been posted by recruiters. So a lot of so our employees are not able to discuss their work on social media. But for a lot of other employers, they do, and you can kind of figure out what they're saying about their jobs through sites like Twitter. I know I probably don't have a ton of time. I just want to touch upon a couple of other things. Facebook, obviously, is kind of, for me, I'm on the fence about Facebook. What we found is that folks under 30 that are on Facebook, only about 35% of them actually list their employer. And a lot of the reason behind that is they're really concerned with how what they do on Facebook is going to impact them at their place of work. And it actually can. We had a situation where we had an employee that had actually put something on Facebook that said, "Oh, I'm going into work today. I just don't feel like being there. I just can't stand my manager." And we have monitoring in place for that when Charles Schwab comes up as a mention in social media. So it can actually impact you. So I would just recommend, especially if you're in your job search, know your employer, and just be really careful with your privacy settings on Facebook. Be very careful with your profile picture. I know I probably, I always am wanting to put like when I look cute or, hey, guess what? I just did this, or I'm on a boat this weekend. And, I'm the first to admit, but I really have to think about that when I know I'm connected with folks at my place of work, and that could really impact how I'm perceived by the team. And I was actually curious, so I did ask a few of our recruiters at Schwab how often they actually look up people's Facebook profiles, and they did actually say that they do pretty often. So just keep that in mind. And is every little, if you're drinking a beer in a picture, is an employer going to say, "Oh, I don't want to hire them"? Who knows? But you don't know the audience on the other end. So I would say when you're in a job search, when you work for a very regulated employer or a very conservative employer, that needs to come across through social media. And everything's permanent. You may think it's deleted, but you just never really know. So I just recommend erring on the side of caution. But you can also use the social media. It's not all negative. You can use to build your personal brand. So by sharing professional photos, having a professional photo on your LinkedIn profile, on your Facebook if you're looking for work, showing actively, if you don't have a piece of, if you're not working, you can show your employer, you can say student at NAU, or you can say currently seeking employment. So show that you're actively looking for work. You can also build your online persona by anything from blogging if you're interested in creativity, if you're interested in a creative field or a technical field. Blogging is, imagine that if you were an employer, just assume that they're going to Google you, right? And Google yourself and see what comes up. And just think through the employer's eyes, is this the way that I want to be perceived when I'm looking for employment? And just take that to heart, and that's some of the best advice I can give you. Also, definitely take the time to follow any potential employers. Start to identify, I don't know where you all are at in your education, but as early as possible, identify that core list of 5 to 10 employers that you're really interested in working for, and start to follow them on Twitter, follow their company Facebook, connect with as many recruiters as you can on LinkedIn, because you never know one day that those folks are maybe the ones that come through for you. And if you're constantly, for that 1 year, 2 years, while you're still in school, getting that feed of all that information, by the time it comes to actually look for work, and you want to go apply at that employer, and they say, "Why do you want to work for Charles Schwab?" You've been following them on Twitter for 3 years, and you know exactly why you want to work for Charles Schwab. And that's one of the most important things in your job search, is understanding how you fit into the culture of